joining us. I'm Reagan Terry.
And I'm Maggie Delmore. The debate is white hot in Olean about the city's proposed budget for the next fiscal year. Jessica Ansuini takes a closer look at what might happen.
Olean needs to get rid of the city's $4.3 million deficit, or taxes might be on the rise at a record rate. Here in the City Council building last Tuesday, March 13th, Mayor David Carucci and the council aldermen discussed the future budget. However, a decision was not reached. The city now must wait. Mayor Carucci served council members with a deadline to agree with his $14.7 million budget that would increase taxes by 39% or propose a new budget of their own.
In the charter, it states that the mayor and his department heads are to make up a budget. They're to present it to the Common Council, and the Common Council is either to pass it or reject it.
Some residents are outraged by the tax increase Carucci has proposed. Community members spoke out at the council meeting, raising concerns for the future of the city and their hard-earned cash.
45 years ago when I came to this town, it was a beautiful town. All they're doing now is driving us out because we can't pay our taxes.
You know, my taxes are talking about 39%. The reality is you cannot get a straight understanding of what is going on until someone finally sits them down, locks the stinking room, holds the key, and says to them, now come out with a real budget.
Anglin said he and the council will reject a budget with such an unprecedented increase. For Sbu TV, I'm Jessica Ansuini.
The City Common Council has until April 15th to accept and pass some kind of legal budget.
On Thursday, March 8th, St. Bonaventure University announced that head basketball coach Anthony Solomon has been released from his contract. During his 4 seasons at Bonaventure, Solomon's overall record was 24-88 and 10-54 in Atlantic 10 conference play. The Bonnies won as many games in Solomon's first season as they did in his last. In between, they endured a 2-26 record in 2004-2005. The worst ever on-court mark in the 86-year existence of the team. In addition, Solomon's 21% is the worst in school history. 4 assistant coaches, 13 players, and fans' hopes to reach the Atlantic 10 tournament left the program during Solomon's run. Solomon's replacement could come at any time. The candidates range from Mike Dunlap, an NBA assistant coach for the Denver Nuggets, Jeff Neubauer, the head coach for the NCAA tournament-bound Eastern Kentucky Colonels, Mike Longren, the head coach of Vermont, and Will Brown, the head coach of also NCAA tournament-bound Albany.
Have driving conditions been a little rocky in your area lately? Kevin Rooney takes a closer look at what could be the leading problem.
If you haven't noticed, road travel has been a little bumpy lately. The cause? Potholes. They seem to be popping up overnight and shaking cars all over the area.
There's potholes everywhere.
These road craters can be harmful to your car.
I got a flat tire from one, and I've heard of other students getting flat tires too.
While Bonaventure roads are in deep need of repair, Cattaraugus County is preparing for their springtime cleanup.
We buy the hot mix material, we blow out the holes, we tack coat the holes with a tack material that's specifically formulated for that, which helps the adhesion, and then we patch them and compact them with hot mix.
A common misconception is that snowplows cause the potholes, but Rachel knows differently.
The snowplows don't do that. What does it is frost. The cold Mother Nature is what does that.
The cost to properly repair these damages isn't cheap.
At 20-foot width, which most of our payments are, you're looking at about $235,000 a mile. And that's materials, equipment, that covers pretty much everything, right down to restriping the road.
So to all you springtime drivers,
watch for our crews, drive carefully, obey the roadwork signs. When you see our signs and you see our yellow vests and our yellow shirts, be careful.
For more information on road construction in your area, go to the National Traffic and Road Closure Information website at www.fhwa.gov.
Allegheny River flooding threatens parts of Cattaraugus County today. Heavy rain and mild overnight temperatures have prompted multiple flood warnings across the area. Some roads are also closed. The National Weather Service in Buffalo has issued several local flood warnings, including the Allegheny River at Olean and Salamanca, Cattaraugus Creek at Gwanda and the Genesee River at Wellsville and Portville. According to WBEN in Buffalo, waters from the Allegheny River could reach 5 feet above flood stage. Some of the affected locations could be the Riverview School of Aviation, portions of Portville, and the Union Street Bridge in downtown Olean. Snow showers are forecasted for both Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures lingering in the mid-20s.
The National Weather Service believes a small tornado clipped a small section of Hume, Louisiana near New Orleans. 4 homes sustained minor damage, CNN's Patrick Evans reports.
Right. Royce Moore canceled a fishing trip, but he has a whale of a tale after what he heard. Severe weather blew over his home in Houma.
Oh, heard it. We heard it. That's it. It's just a little bitty noise. Oh, and then goodbye. That's all it was. Just within seconds.
What he saw outside surprised him. Sheets of aluminum roofing blown from the front carport into the backyard.
Lucky though, the cars didn't get hit, the boat didn't get hit, nothing. It could have been much more worse.
A few hours after the storm, a cable worker reinstalls lines to a repaired utility pole. The reported tornado toppled that pole.
The wind made the light pole fall and fell over on a truck.
Emergency planners say this small tornado is a good wake-up call for people to make emergency plans now.
And you need to look into investing in a severe weather radio, because a lot of times the National Weather Service puts out severe weather alerts before these systems come in. And it's a good idea to have it ahead of time, be ready, so that you know that something's approaching.
Make sure you plan now.
It was just no time to do nothing, believe me. It was done.
Because you may not have time to react when severe weather hits.
I got flooded.
Coming up, a look at the wearing of the green and how alcohol affects the liver long term.
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for...
Yes,
yeah. Mr. Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up... No.
Dreams really do come true.
No.
Yes,
Ed McMahon, see.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first ever...
McMahon.
Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango dinero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right.
Larry, put some pants on.
I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Help play a part in the safety of your community. To find out how you can start or join a neighborhood watch, log on to usaonwatch.org.
Emily Sinzabal, the new Vice President for Marketing and Communications at St. Bonaventure, is bringing new ideas to the table after filling a position that was empty for nearly a year. Sinzabal is working with the PR campaign class to help generate a new calendar of public relation events that could possibly be used in the future.
I love that she's very open to communication, because I think sometimes that's been what's wrong for so long, and she's very open. And that she recognizes the talent we have with the students, I think is phenomenal.
I'm really thrilled that the students are interested in becoming engaged in this, because they are the audience. I'm not the audience. In many respects, the students are really closer to at least our enrollment audience. And so their perspectives are very important to me.
Dr. Sinzabal has worked at Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania since 1988. She has earned a master's in communication study from Edinburgh and a PhD in higher education from the University at Buffalo. She will assist in organizing the 2008 celebration of Bonaventure's 150th birthday.
Before the Richter Center was built, students were forced to go off campus to get a workout. With the new gym up and running, we took a look at the status of the university's old fitness center. The group, Students in Free Enterprise, better known as SIFE, has taken full control of the old fitness center, turning it into a tennis center.
Dr. Palmer kind of had the idea that he thought it'd be a good project for SIFE to take on, and since the university really doesn't have much to do with it anymore, they thought it'd be a good idea for them just to try it out and to run it.
The university is not providing funds for repairs and upkeeps that the building needs, so profits SIFE makes go back into the center.
Ready for this year was just make sure we made the cost of heating and lighting, which is like a big cost there. But other than that, all the workers are volunteers.
The center will be closing for the summer session, when SIFE members will be on break.
Closing in the middle of April probably. Once the weather starts to be nice and people can play outside. Hopefully in the future they could start something like that if they get people to work, but as of now there's nothing in place.
Despite the lack of income SIFE receives from the center, they still have ambition to keep the center up and running.
What we wanted to do was keep the tennis center going because there really is nowhere else to play tennis around here, and people like from the community really like to play there.
Although it is still open, the fitness center remains on the market.
The 6th Annual Women of Promise Awards will be held this week on St. Bonaventure's campus. Lindsey Duringer has more.
Well, the Bonner women are
Sbu TV's own Reagan Terry has been chosen as this year's recipient of the Woman of Promise Award by the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. The Woman of Promise Award is given each year to a female JMC senior who's excelled both in and out of the classroom during her 4 years at St. Bonaventure, and who shows a promising future in this career field after graduation.
We look for a senior who will leave St. Bonaventure with a degree in journalism and mass communication and will succeed in whatever field she pursues, or will succeed in life.
In order to be considered for the award, Terry had to be nominated by a professor in the Journalism and Mass Communications School.
It was narrowed down, and Reagan was the eventual winner.
Journalism professor Chris Mikowski, who helped pioneer the Woman of Promise Award 6 years ago, felt Terry to be a role model for young women going into the professional world.
She is really enthusiastic. She just throws herself into something with such good cheer. She's always smiling, always happy, always enthusiastic. Reagan is the kind of young woman that I would hope my daughter would grow up to be.
Hey Reagan, we're both reporters, but this time you're on the other side of the fence. What is your reaction to all this?
I was ecstatic. It's such a distinction and an honor. I feel beyond privileged.
For Sbu TV, I'm Lindsey Duringer.
The award ceremony begins at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, March 20th in Dresser Auditorium of the Murphy Professional Building. NBC News consumer reporter Janice Lieberman will be the keynote speaker for the event.
Today, Sbu TV reporter Emily Lenihan continues her series on alcoholism by looking at the permanent effects of alcohol abuse on the body.
Nearly 14 million Americans meet the criteria for alcohol disorders, which can lead to long-term health effects.
It affects the liver. If you have a long bout of drinking alcohol for many years, it can cause cirrhosis, which is infection of the liver.
You're stressing the really complex set of reactions that happen in your liver to process.
Years of alcohol abuse can lead to the blood in the liver hardening, causing the blood to back up and push into the esophagus.
So what ends up happening is that's why the hemorrhaging happens in that area, right? So it's a pretty ugly death.
The esophagus isn't the only thing a damaged liver compromises.
You're affecting your liver. You're messing with the digestion of your food and your entire digestive system.
Other effects include
nervous system, cause tingling and loss of sensation in your hands and feet, causes weakness and loss of muscle tissue. It affects the lungs because then you have a greater chance of chest infections. It can cause pancreatitis, which is the inflammation of the organ of the pancreas, so your resistance is down to fight diseases. It also affects your sexual organs.
With Sbu TV, I'm Emily Lenihan.
This series on alcoholism continues next week with a look at the recovery process.
St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. Sbu TV's Kathleen Donnelly caught up with the residents of Olean to find out what their plans are for the holiday.
St. Patrick's Day is a day for the wearing of the green, for traditional Irish food, and for drinking beer. But it began as a religious holiday with pubs closed and the people of Ireland attending church. The Irish holiday is held in remembrance of St. Patrick, who has been credited for bringing Catholicism to Ireland. Legend has it that St. Patrick combined a pagan sun with a cross to rid Ireland of paganism, thus creating the Celtic cross. It has also been said that St. Patrick taught the people of Ireland about the Holy Trinity by using a shamrock to show three people as one unit.
Although most people don't recognize their symbolism, shamrocks and Celtic crosses are still worn today to represent Irish culture and can be seen most visibly on St. Patrick's Day.
Everybody likes to celebrate it, even if they're not Irish, or at least Irish for a day.
I am part Irish, and to celebrate I just go out to the bars, drink green beer, hang out with my friends.
Other St. Paddy's Day traditions are eating corned beef and cabbage, attending parades, and listening to Irish music.
We celebrate St. Patrick every year on March 17th by having a festive atmosphere where we have a lot of Irish entertainment, dancers, and Irish food available.
Irish are real social people. We just look for a good time.
No matter what your reason for celebrating, make sure you have a safe St. Patrick's Day. Erin Go Bra for Sbu TV, I'm Kathleen Donnelly.
Another St. Paddy's Day tradition is to plant one potato on March 17th in order to guarantee a good harvest for the coming year.
A new study of veterans' mental health looked at the records of both men and women. Female soldiers still can't take part in infantry, armor, or artillery offensives, but the war on terror has put women closer than ever to the line of fire. And as Randy Kay reports, some are coming home with problems that you don't see at first glance.
For more than a year, Carrie Christensen hauled tanks up and down the dangerous roads of Iraq.
It was very scary because you always had to be on alert. You were always thinking, is this going to be my last mission? Am I going to make it home?
Today, this mother of two from Illinois is back behind the wheel of her minivan, hauling her most precious cargo, 4-year-old Olivia and 8-year-old Madison. But from the driver's seat, what Carrie sees most other moms would never even want to imagine.
Trash bags, like if they're laying in the middle of the road or on the side of the road, to me they could be IEDs.
Since returning home, Carrie says she sleeps an average of 4 hours a night and takes both sleeping pills and antidepressants.
Had you ever experienced depression before in your life?
Not major depression like this, no.
Carrie says she's had imaginary conversations with her husband and dropped and rolled at the sound of a neighbor's nail gun.
To me it sounded like a machine gun. And I initially just got down on the ground.
Carrie says she was diagnosed in Iraq with post-traumatic stress disorder. Did you even have it in you to nurture your children when you got back, when really you were the one who needed the nurturing?
Not really, no. I know it's horrible to say, but I was so lost.
At any point, did you seriously consider taking your own life?
When I got home, yeah.
She says she was already experiencing anxiety or mild depression when she was reassigned to duty at the Kuwait airport because of a non-combat injury. She says that only made her feel worse.
Every day I had to walk past the theater mortuary, and they had coffins stacked up that were empty, but they were just waiting for bodies to come in, and we would see coffins being placed into a trailer that was a cooler and waiting for the next flight to come in to have the bodies shipped onto the plane and taken home.
Carrie says she also had been dealing with sexual harassment. The military tells CNN it found her allegation to have no merit. Then, while in Kuwait, Carrie was arrested by military police for wrongfully consuming alcohol. She says she was just groggy from taking prescription medicine. A court-martial found her guilty and she was reprimanded. An ordeal, she says, intensified her inner trauma.
Amazing. My mother knows French.
Carrie has decided to leave the military. In the year she's been home, she says, there's been little improvement in her condition. There are still the nightmares and the phobias. No way to live for this suburban mom whose war at home, just like the one in Iraq, has no end in sight. Randy Kay, CNN, Oakwood Hills, Illinois.
Coming up, the Olean Huskies' quest for the state championship and a look at March Madness.
Mrs. Lawson,
I'm sorry. I still don't have it all.
I can't keep coming back like this. I need the rent.
I know, it's just that I have 3 kids.
Who's at the door, Mom?
No one, Emily. Would you go back and watch your brother, please?
I don't know what to do.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Here you go.
While students were on spring break, Bonaventure spring sports began their seasons. The men's baseball team traveled to Florida and won 4 out of their 9 games. The trip featured a win over a solid Miami team. Sophomore first baseman Tristan Mulcahy has been named Atlantic 10 Conference Baseball Player of the Week for the period ending March 11th. The team's next game is Tuesday, March 20th against West Virginia. Women's lacrosse also took a spring road trip. The girls traveled to Eugene, Oregon, where they lost their season opener 13-10 against a tough Oregon team and defeated the Vermont Catamounts 20-15 in a wild offense battle. After losing to George Mason on the road Tuesday the 13th, the Bonnies will take on Albany and Siena in Albany, New York, March 16th and 17th. The women's softball team spent their spring break in South Carolina, finishing a 5-5 record in the Charleston Southern Invite. This past weekend in the Winthrop Adidas Invitational, the Bonnies defeated Archon and Pittsburgh, but fell to Radford, Furman, and Winthrop. The 7-8 Bonnies head to Rhode Island Friday the 23rd to face the Rams. A local boys team is making headlines. Reagan Terry has the story.
8 quarters, 64 minutes, 2 games, away from a state championship. The Olean boys high school basketball team made it to the New York State Final Four last weekend for the second time in 5 years. The boys edged past Charlotte High School of Rochester to guarantee a trip to Glens Falls. Leading scorer, Zach Moore, said it was a team effort that advanced Olean.
We just capitalized on everything we set out to do and we just played really well together.
Coach Jeff Anastasia said his players are committed and harbor a strong team dynamic.
This is a very close-knit group of players. They, from day one, they had a mission on their mind, and that was to get to Glens Falls and win the state championship.
The Huskies proved to be a dominant force through most of the season. The team ranked first among Class B schools, and the players finished their regular season with a record of 24-1. They also snagged the Section 6 title. The boys met their goal of making the Final Four, but do they have what it takes to win the state championship?
I think we can win it. Just keep playing as a team and playing hard.
We just need to play good team defense and then just be able to get the ball inside, and then that'll get our outside game, and then I think as long as we hit our shots, we can get it.
I just plan on playing our hearts out. We're going to win.
For Sbu TV, I'm Reagan Terry.
Olean plays Ogdensburg of Section 10 Friday, March 16th at 6:45 in the Civic Center. Olean made its last Final Four in 2003. It may not look quite like March where you live, but NCAA's basketball's March Madness is well on its way. The Niagara Purple Eagles men's basketball team, after winning their MAC Conference championship, received an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. However, they would have to get past the Florida A&M Rattlers in the play-in game to reach the field of 64. Cliff Brown had a career night, sinking 32 points to put the Purple Eagles on top of the Florida A&M Rattlers. Unfortunately, that win placed them against the #1 seeded Kansas Jayhawks.
And now, what will it take for the 16th seed to upset #1 Kansas?
Well, we play together, so anything can happen. And hey, let's just play. We'll get it done.
In more Madness news, the HSBC Arena hosted the West and the Midwest region's first and second round games. In front of a sold-out crowd, the Maryland Terrapins held off a strong attack by the Davidson Wildcats, earning an 82-70 victory.
For Bob Wenzel, Kevin Harlan sings "So Long" from Buffalo.
The Duke Blue Devils also took the HSBC Arena floor, but they were shocked by the VCU Rams. With this final shot, VCU's Eric Maynor sealed the day's first upset with a 79-77 VCU victory. And Butler also advanced to the second round after beating Wright State and Old Dominion in HSBC Arena Thursday. The second round games will be played Saturday, March 17th in HSBC Arena. The Buffalo Sabres were in South Florida Thursday in hopes to break a 4-game winless streak against the Florida Panthers. Ty Conklin received his first start in the net for Buffalo since being acquired at the trade deadline to replace Martin Byron. Conklin looked sharp early on, turning away a flurry of chances by the Panthers.
By Conklin, they got it down low out in front of the net. The shot right on Conklin to save the rebound, and it's fired high.
Florida's Stephen Weiss opened the scoring, however, on a backhand that he lifted over a diving Conklin.
And the Florida Panthers draw first blood.
Less than a minute into the second, Jason Pominville netted his 29th of the season as he tied the game at 1.
Pominville, Jason Pominville, and the population goes up by one more in Pominville.
Early in the third, Buffalo leading 3-2, Nathan Horton slapped a redirected shot past Conklin to tie the game at 3.
And blasted into the empty net to tie the game.
Florida continued to pressure the Sabres throughout much of the third period, but Conklin proved he wasn't going to let this game slip away. And Chris Drury netted the game winner midway through the third on a deflection from a Brian Campbell shot.
Brian Campbell let it rip. Ryan was camped right beside the net, but Buffalo is back in the lead.
The Sabres would add an insurance goal thanks to Drew Stafford as the Sabres win the second game of the 4-game road trip.
Drew Stafford, second of the night. The Panthers are arguing, but for the moment, Buffalo is in the lead by 2.
I made a little mistake in there. That's Martin Biron. And Buffalo takes on Tampa Bay Friday night and will play a 2 p.m. matinee on Sunday in Atlanta. And that's all for this week in sports.
That's it for Sbu TV News this week. For Colleen, Hannon, Reagan, Terry, and all of us at Sbu TV, have a great week.
Oh, Paddy dear, and did you hear the news that's going round? The shamrock is by law forbid to grow on Irish ground. St. Patrick's Day no more will keep his colours can't be seen, for they're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green. I met with Napper Tandy and he took me by the hand. He said, how's dear old Ireland and how does she stand? She's the most distressful country that you have ever seen, for they're hanging